By popular demand, here is a My Froggy Stuff mashup. 12 hours, 53 minutes, and 45 seconds until Breyerfest!
Oh yeah, Breyerfest. Oh yeah, Breyerfest.
So of course, all we can think about are horses. We have gathered some of our favorite horse crafts in this Fabsome mashup. From the stalls to the arena, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I am going to make a supply caddy for a doll using jumbo popsicle sticks, a toothpick, free printables from our blog, craft foam, recycled paperboard, a gym sock, recycled computer paper, a wooden dowel, a clear drying glue like Mod Podge, markers, acrylic paint, a nail file, and glue. I start by cutting the ends off of a jumbo popsicle stick, making it 3 pieces. Using the middle piece as a guide, cut 2 more, cut a wooden dowel to be the same length as the long pieces, file the cut edges, glue the long pieces together, glue the rounded ends of the popsicle stick inside, glue the wooden dowel across the top, rub a marker on the bottom of a plastic container, add a clear drying water-based sealer or glue like Mod Podge, mix it, then brush it on to stain the caddies. Vary the concentration of the marker to adjust the color, or paint it with craft paint to make it a different color. Sand the edges with a nail file to make it look worn and used. Cut paper into thin strips, roll the paper using a toothpick, use glue to secure the end, wrap it with shorter strips of paper, use glue to secure the end, cut the toothpick, glue it inside, paint the top, cut out a label from our printables, glue it on, to make a conditioner for a horse's hooves. Roll a long strip of paper, attach a thinner strip, allowing it to cone as it goes down. When I reach the bottom, I continue to wrap the paper to make it thicker. Apply glue to hold it in place. Cut craft foam to look like a nozzle. Remove the toothpick, then glue the nozzle inside. Glue a printable label on front to make a spray bottle. Roll a thin tube of paper, add another strip, remove the toothpick, cut the end at a slight angle, cut a small piece of paperboard, make small cuts at the end, glue it to the end of the paper, paint it black, then silver, glue a piece of black paper around the middle, add small dabs of glue to the sides and allow them to dry, paint them to match, add a few more drops to the front to make clippers. Make a paper tube, add our printable label to make a cooling spray for the clippers. Add a hoof pick and a brush from our doll Tack Room video. Cut a piece of a gym sock to use as a rag. Cut a small piece of a sponge to make a horse grooming caddy. Make another one using our labels for cleaning supplies. Cut small pieces from a sponge or a scrub pad. Roll a long paper tube, add another strip of paper, remove the toothpick, add a label, to make a bottle of cleaner, to make a caddy of cleaning supplies. Or we can make paper bottles and add an acrylic paint label to make a bottle of paint. Cut and paint paperboard to make a paint palette. Make a large paper tube and paint it to hold paintbrushes from our doll art classroom video. Use wooden cutouts to make it larger. We cut the top corners off of these squares, connected them with 2 popsicle sticks, then continue just as before. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
So we already made 1, 2, 3 stalls for our barn. And for us, space is an issue, so I don't think we're gonna add too many more stalls. Actually, we'll probably just leave it at 3, but we wanna set it up differently, so I'm just going to move the boxes around a little to make a hallway. I think you're missing something here. Right, we do have a large empty space right here, and I think this is gonna be perfect for like a tack room, feed room, pretty much a multi-purpose room that has to all fit right here. And I started on it. I just didn't, finish it. But that didn't stop Little Froggy from playing with it.
Come on, folks. We're moving in.
So I'm just going to organize this space and begin setting up the room. So first, I have to take everything out, including you, little bunnies. The box is made similar to the stalls, only this time I cut a large opening in the front. However, I didn't finish covering the sides. So let me do that first. We did a crisscross under the back window, hardwood floors on the inside with a white trim. We have these Breyer saddle stands, but we need something that takes up less space. So I unfold a paper clip, cut off the small end, bend it, and I push it into the wall so that the cut ends are going between the layers of cardboard. Cut popsicle sticks. I glue 5 together, glue it on top of the paper clip and to the wall. Glue cut popsicle sticks underneath for support, so there is a place to put the saddles. Unfold and cut the big end of a paper clip. I'm just gonna bend up and then bend it back, making this little L-shaped hook. Push them into the wall to hold bridles and halters. Then I glued covered cardboard to the back wall to make some shelves. We modified the gardening table from our secret garden to be a work table. We made some barrels from our trash can video, and we're gonna say they're filled with alfalfa pellets and oats. I can actually put stuff in them on the other side, and I might get around to that later. Right now they just look like they're closed barrels. I've even got a little Briar scoop to lay on top. I neatly cover a piece of white paper with tape, glued it to some cardboard, added a popsicle stick frame and a chain to make a dry erase board for the feed chart. And then she can just remove it and write on it later. And this looks like a pretty good start for our tack room. So I'm just gonna start putting everything back in, like her Breyer dressage saddle, a bridle, helmets, a few riding crops that we made in a previous video, store some blankets on the shelves. We made these little clippers in our dog Caddy video, along with this little grooming box. I'm using a permanent marker to draw the lines on the feed chart. So now we can use a dry erase marker, and when we erase, the lines are still there. And I'm just gonna put that back on the wall. We put a few more items around on the shelves, and these are little butter containers, and we thought they looked a lot like small buckets that you would mix grain in. You just stack them right there. I printed off a few pictures of Little Froggy to personalize the space. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
I am going to make a stall for a horse using a cardboard box, wood grain scrapbook paper, white paper, paper clips, an empty yogurt container, chain, bamboo skewers, popsicle sticks, craft paint, manila construction paper, craft foam, and glue. I start by removing the tabs from the top of the box. Using a ruler, I draw a doorway and a window. Turn the box around to the back and draw another window. Cut them out Secure the bottom of the box with glue, cover the raw edges with white paper, then cover it with scrapbook paper, leaving a little space around the edges. Cut strips of white paper, glue them around the edges to frame the cutouts, and a crisscross under the windows. Cut black craft foam, then glue it to the bottom for stall mats. Set popsicle sticks on the bottom and top of the window. And we did not glue them in, they are simply wedged in place. Cut bamboo skewers or wooden dowels to fit between the popsicle sticks. Glue the skewers to the popsicle sticks, carefully remove it, paint it. Once dried, glue it in place. Unfold a paper clip, use floral wire cutters to cut it at the end of the loop, then use needle nose pliers to bend it. Take the box, lay it on its side, take the cut piece of paper clip, then push it into the side wall, going down into the cardboard. Being careful not to come out the other side. Lay the box flat, going forward, place another one on the inside wall and under the window. Take the leftover paper clip, unfold it, curl it into an S, trim off the excess to make S hooks that hook over the paper clip, so a chain can be hooked from one end to the other. Use the hook under the window to hang a bucket from our doll Mop and Bucket video. Cut the small side off of a separated yogurt container, paint the sides that will be visible, glue it in the corner to hold grain. Make a hook using a large paper clip, put it on the front of the barn to hold halters and lead ropes. Finely cut manila construction paper, then place it in the stall for hay or shavings. To complete the stall, make more to expand your barn, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
Going to make a horse arena and paddock for a doll using recycled cardboard, wooden slats from the craft store, scrapbook paper, a few boxes of kinetic sand, watercolors, large jump rings and chain, small hinges, wooden dowels, acrylic paint, masking tape, and glue. I am using a recycled trifold from the science fair. However, any recycled cardboard would work as well. I start by removing the sides, so I am left with a large flat piece of cardboard. We found these wooden slats at the craft store, and they come in a variety of widths. We purchased 4 long rectangles, some smaller rectangles, and squares. I glue the long rectangle slats around the edge of the cardboard, making a frame that goes all the way around. Some of this craft wood is a soft wood, so we're going to take the square and cut it into small pieces using a handsaw. Adult supervision is required. I can also cut the boards by scoring the sides with an X-Acto knife and use a nail file to smooth out the rough edges. Glue them evenly spaced going around the edge of the cardboard, leaving an opening for the entrance. Then we take the small rectangle wooden slats and glue them on the outside edge to make the paddock fence. We glue the rails on the inside for our riding arena. To make the gate, I measure the space between the opening and the height of the post, starting from on top of the bottom board. I cut 2 boards for the length of the bottom. The length of my post was about 4.5 inches. I want to cut the beams to fit between these top and bottom boards, so I subtract their width from my measurement, making it about 3 3/4. Measure and cut the wood. I cut 3 to glue in between. Cut and glue one across. Once it's dry, turn it over and glue another piece of wood going across. We carefully remove the hinges from these small wooden boxes. Using a generous amount of glue, glue one side of the hinge onto the gate so the glue pushes up through the holes, being careful not to get any on the hinge. Glue the other side onto the post to make a gate that can swing open. Or you can measure a piece of chain across the opening, add jump rings on the ends, place the jump rings over the post to close off the area. I can use watercolors to stain the fence. You can also buy the watercolors individually to get darker, more concentrated color. You may choose to pre-paint your boards before gluing them together if you are concerned about wetting the cardboard. Once dried, I can cover the cardboard with scrapbook paper like this green grass for a paddock, or use a sand scrapbook paper for an arena. And scrapbook paper will allow the horses to stand on a smooth surface without falling down. However, if you're looking for a little texture, then kinetic sand is a good option. Smooth out a thin layer. Depending on the size of the arena, it may require a few boxes. And if space is an issue, you can always do both. Glue down grass scrapbook paper for the paddock, then cover with sand to turn it into an arena. And now that we have an arena, our horses can start a little training. We take a wooden dowel and paint it white. Once dried, begin wrapping it with small amounts of masking tape. And I like to leave a small tab so it'll be easy to remove later. Paint the untaped areas. Carefully remove the tape to make ground poles. Adjust the size to fit your models. I can also make only half of the arena to save space. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Here is a Fabsome horse craft. I am going to make a simple horse trough using a recycled fruit container from Chick-fil-A. After removing the lid, it already resembles an empty trough that can be used in a paddock. But let's take it a step further using clear plastic from packaging and gloss Mod Podge. Use the container to trace a circle on the plastic, cut on the inside of the line, trim it until it can fit inside. Tracing a spool of ribbon will also give a good circle. Then swirl on a layer of Mod Podge, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
Our Briar barn is a work in progress, and we thought it would be fun to have a little tour of how it looks so far. Right now, our barn has 3 stalls and a nice-sized tack room. It can hold 8 saddles. There are some red hooks for our halters and bridles, most of which we have found at Breyerfest. And I like to personalize everything, so there are little pictures of little Froggy from her horse shows. I think that's pretty awesome. On the other side, we have our feed area and some storage for blankets. And there are some cute little kittens playing on the floor. I love using Schleich animals for little friends around the barn. I'm going to put the little bunnies over by our fruit stand. Too cute. Probably not the best place for bunnies since that's where our fruit is, but it's adorable. Going back to the barn and the stalls, we have 3 large stalls, so our model horses get plenty of room. There is even a feed and water bucket in the corner. In front of each stall, we have a Briar saddle rack, little lanterns that we found at Michael's, and we use a chain to keep all of the horses in their stalls. Oh no, looks like somebody got out. Let me just clean that up right quick. In front of the barn, we have a few plants, and we park the truck and trailer on the side of the barn. Ooh, Looks like the farrier just showed up. On the other side of the barn, we have our little sleepy dog and the hay bales that we made for extra storage. Then right to the side of that is one of my favorite places at the barn. This is the wash stall that we made that looks just like the real wash stall at the barn where Johnny is actually at. And look, the water hose has like fake water spraying out of it. And she has her little caddy with all of her grooming supplies. Behind the wash stall, we have our berry garden and a small area for grazing. That is our horse Lexi, which we call the Lady of Lexington because we bought her at our very first Breyerfest, which is in Lexington, Kentucky. And we haven't officially named all of our horses, pretty much just that one because it's, it's special to us and brings back memories. I knew putting the rabbits near the fruit was a bad idea. There's already one in the garden. I love this section because it's just so green. We used bulletin board paper for our blue sky. We found it at the teacher supply store. The grass is green ground cover from the craft store. You can find it where they have all of the miniatures for like building dioramas. And so that's what our barn looks like so far. I would say we're about a third of the way done. We still have to fix up our arena and paddock, which is currently overstocked with random animals. But for now, this is our barn. And keep an eye out for more craft videos as we continue to build our barn. See you next time! Oh yeah, and we couldn't decide between using Barbies for our barn or the Briar riders, so we just combined the two by adding a Chelsea head onto a Briar doll body. So they have the look of a Barbie, but can ride the horses like a Briar. Awesome! And we hope you have as much fun as we did building your own Briar barn. We are working on our model horse barn, and today we are going to add an outdoor wash stall. Using a 12 by 12 inch piece of cardboard for the base, recycled paper, extra cardboard, scrapbook paper, or printables from our blog, myfroggystuff.blogspot.com, ribbon, lobster clasp and jump rings, small rocks, you can get them from the craft store or your backyard, and glue. I start by covering the cardboard base with scrapbook paper or printables from our blog that look like concrete. And I used a rock printed paper around the edge. Using a bamboo skewer or a wooden dowel, I roll paper tubes using recycled paper. Use glue to add more paper and continue rolling. I made 4 long ones and 2 short. Cover them with a wood grain paper. Glue 2 of the tall rolls in the front corners. Glue the shorter ones in the back. Then on the side, then turn it to the side and glue a tube going across, making the sides of the stall. Cut 2 strips of cardboard and glue them together. Cover with paper and glue across the back. Cut a piece of ribbon, slide it through a jump ring, then fold over and glue. Repeat on the other end. Attach a lobster clasp to one side. Place a large jump ring on the other side. Glue the large jump ring on the inside of the tube. Repeat on the other side to make cross ties. Roll a thin paper tube, cut it at an angle, glue the 2 cut pieces together to make a right angle. Cut it again, cut a small piece, glue it straight up on the end, cut another piece of the leftover tube, glue it on, wrap a strip of paper here and there. Take a plastic bead and glue it on top. Paint it. Once dried, glue it on the side for a faucet. Apply glue around the outer edge and glue on small rocks. I even added a few silk plants around the faucet. We used the water hose from our garden supply video on My Froggy Stuff. Cross tie your horse by putting the lobster clasp on the halter. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
decorate the barn for the holidays. However, we're having a little bit of a storage problem. We have all these extra blankets and accessories that don't fit into our tack room. And I don't want to make a bigger tack room. I just want to hide all this stuff. And that's when we came up with this Fabsome new idea to create storage in plain sight. Using some empty tea boxes, we are going to remake our doll hay bales. Using some printables from our blog, metallic paper, and glue. Super simple craft coming up. I take an empty tea box, you know, the kind that can fold over and be tucked in. Using a glue stick, I glue on a hay printed paper. Now this is a printable that is available on our blog. The link is in the description box below. Once the box is covered, cut thin strips of a metallic scrapbook paper and glue them around the box to make bales of hay. And since they're made from a tea box, we can open them to store some of our accessories inside. Get in there! Then we close it until needed. And you can always add a small label to the bottom to say what's inside. Woohoo! Barn organization, here I come! Oh, and I'm going to need a few more bales. And possibly a hayloft. It looks like I have my work cut out for me. See you next time! Thank you for joining us for this My Froggy Stuff mashup. We will be at Breyerfest July 14th through the 16th. So if you see us, please say hi! Let us know what mashups you would like to see in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at My Froggy Stuff and The Frog Blog. And we will see you next time. Bye! Why did the pony go to the doctor? Because he was a little horse! Get it? Oh, that one gets me every time.